What are freight volumes looking like for next year? Our research, conducted in partnership with CITA, CITT, and Cormark Securities, shows the outlook for freight volumes is slow in 2012, but shows growth nonetheless. The largest proportion of Canadian shippers responding to our annual Transportation Buying Trend Survey, 42%, said they were expecting freight volumes to remain flat with 2011. But more than a third expect 5 to 10% growth, while 15% expect even better growth than that. To gain more insight into what to expect for 2012, Editorial Director Lou Smerlas spoke to leading motor carrier and shipping executives during our annual Decisions Roundtable. The event, sponsored once again by Shaw Tracking and conducted in partnership with the Toronto Area Council of CITT at the fabulous Maritime Ontario facilities in front of a live audience, brought together some of the most respected minds in transportation from across the country. Construction is a bellwether for the Canadian economy, and Armtec is a key player in the infrastructure and construction market. Here's what Jack Bradley, Director of Purchasing and Logistics for Armtec, had to say about freight volumes in 2012.
Like everybody else has talked here, we're certainly optimistic that we would have some good volumes into 2012. But I think the cautious optimism is out there in saying that if we had what we had this year, we'd be happy with that. Obviously, everybody wants growth, and we're hoping for that. We're projecting a little bit of growth. But we have the commercial sector, we have the municipal government sector, and we have the resource sector. Doug mentioned about the resource sector. So resources are not bad in some places where you can get some business going on the construction side, the drainage side, and laying pipe down and what the case may be. But on the residential side, there's little bits. We do patio stones, we do the kind of landscape architectural in one part of our business. So it's been steady Eddie, but not quite where you want it to be. So consumers if they have cash, they're holding on to it a little bit. Maybe that rainy day. But at the same time, I think there's some people that are in the commercial sector to start looking. You're starting to hear now, heard today about Markham putting up perhaps a big like NHL type of arena. You're starting to hear some things like that. Plus in the Toronto market, we have the Commonwealth Games coming. So what's that going to bring? And those bids are coming up. So we're optimistic that we're going to land our fair share of bids when it comes to that type of business. But it's cautious optimism. And I would agree with your survey that as many people that think there might be a little bit of a bump up, there's people that think there'll be a bump down, and I think that's echoed through the group here as well. So we'd be about the same.
Dan Goodwill, a much-respected industry consultant who works with both shippers and carriers, is also hearing about slow growth in 2012.
Things are not, what you hear in the media. You hear all about the debt crisis in Asia or in Europe, and you see these crazy gyrations in the stock market every day, so it leads you to think, geez, the world is caving in and we're in for a disaster. That's just not reflected, some of these folks have said, it's not reflected in freight volumes. I mean, there is some growth, it's slow, and so there should be some cautious optimism. I think that, as Lou mentioned, we have clients on both sides. I think our shipper clients are still very focused on costs and managing their costs, looking very carefully at value. And our carrier clients are, I think what's happened with carriers is 2007, 2008 was a real education for a lot of folks. We haven't seen declines 20-25% in freight volumes in years. So a lot of companies had to really look inwardly and look at their business model, get back to Freight Management 101. What are the basics of managing a trucking company? And now I'm seeing that reflected on an ongoing basis in discussions with carriers that with shippers rather. Carriers are being very cautious on price, very cautious about where they allocate their capacity, making sure they get good return on their assets that they're employing for each shipper. So there's more, I'd say, the word I see is discipline. I'm finding the carriers are more disciplined as we head into the end of 2011, 2012 than I've ever seen before. I think that's a good thing. I think that's a very good thing. It's good for shippers too, because you want to deal with a trucking company that's responsible, that's well managed, that knows its cost, that knows what it's doing. And so those are the companies you want to surround yourself with. So I think that's kind of what I see as I look at our two sets of clients.
Maesliner provides transportation services ranging from truckload and LTL throughout North America to worldwide air freight to more than 5,000 customers. President Jonathan J.J. Maeslin stressed the importance of not using the uncertain economy as an excuse for limiting company growth plans.
Our outlook hasn't changed too much in the sense that we're in the second year of a 3-year plan. And as a company, we take a look at it as variable costs. We sort of think defensively in the sense that if we have to shrink in a rough economy, we want to know that we're able to. That being said, we don't use the economy as an excuse at all within the organization. So we take a look at selling more products or different types of products to our existing customers, more value-add approach to new potential customers at the end of the day, looking at purchases across the board, and pretty much doing everything we can to make sure and ensure that our company is continuing to grow and thrive in a rough economy. To the point that we're about to set the next 3-year plan, we're actively looking at Asia, we're looking at India, places like that. There's still people out there making money, and we're going to try and figure out how to do it and grow our business.